Welcome back to part 3 with our interview with Jim Reid. Thank you so much for joining us again. And this one is going to be jam-packed with value. And then right at the end, we're going to get down and personal with Jim Reid with some quick-fire questions. I do think the video, especially now more than ever, and as you say, it's I've banged on about a bit, but is going to now completely be a standout for one dealership to another. It used to be a nice to have to make you look good online. It showed the personality of the salespeople, the environment, the dealerships, and it was that area that was not a necessity, but it was a good thing to have, and it could help you stand out. Now I strongly feel that that is going to be the area of standout. It used to be pictures and what you wrote. Now I think what the video says, how descriptive it is and informative and friendly, that will be the standout for dealerships.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I think it's about, a lot of it will be about getting your warmth across, getting the warmth of the dealership across and the trust element, because it's all about trust. It's all about likability and trust. If you're not likable and you don't come across trustworthy, they won't buy the vehicle from you. And that's regardless if they're standing in front of you or standing behind a camera, or standing behind a monitor watching you. It doesn't matter. It's the same. It's exactly the same. Yeah.
Yes. How you come across.
It's going back to the same thing, Jacob. This is all very simple, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's really simple stuff.
I'm going to add that at the bottom. It's all very simple, Jim Reid. Quote of the year.
Yeah.
And one thing I have noticed as well is we're watching a lot of dealerships opening up their service departments, planning for the reopening of sales, with some amazing processes in place. They're spending some money clearly to keep their staff and customers face, yet it's hard to find that they've actually done that. I think a lot of businesses are missing a trick and actually letting you know that they've put these things in place, because for customers, a lot of them don't even realize the service department is open, yet they've got all these amazing things in place to keep them safe, but they're not getting that message out there enough.
Yeah.
Certainly from just watching you on social media and LinkedIn, all of these, anybody that has an account will know Jim Reid is open. We have these amazing policies and processes in place so you can feel safe. But there's a lack of dealerships realizing that as much as they've got these things in place, they need to make sure people know about it. So
absolutely.
What would you recommend to dealers just in how to get the message out there? Is that as simple as just posting on social media, or would you say to put something together properly and advertise it out? Or?
No, I think a strategy. I think part of the strategy would be, on social media. It is as simple as, for instance, we've changed around obviously the showroom here, because we're obviously changing around the desks and rooms and whatever, and putting up sneeze screens and whatever. Did you know what a sneeze screen was up until 2 weeks ago?
Not a clue.
No. So there we go. So by saying a customer, in a paper advertising or even in a letter that you sent out with a postcard or whatever, all of a sudden we've got sneeze screens, and they'll go, oh, what's a sneeze screen? Whereas a picture, something as simple as a picture or a video, this is what we've done. We've set up our offices differently, and that kind of uncluttered look means it's going to be clean. Using the words clinically clean, hygiene, all these words paints a picture of really clean. And you want to go to a really clean place. You don't want to go to a place with cobwebs and dust and dirt and folders and paperwork up to here. You don't want to do that, because if they can't look after that, they're certainly not going to look after your car, are they?
Yeah.
So it's got to feel right, and you can only do that yourself. You can only paint that picture yourself. But also, if you're doing it, if you're painting the picture and you're doing the videos and you're taking the pictures, you've got to deliver that level of experience. Because guess what? You've built yourself up to here, and if you don't deliver it, it's down here, isn't it? It's a customer experience.
We used to hate walking into places that smelt clinical and smelt like bleach, whereas now I think that's what people are going to be looking for.
Absolutely.
They want to walk into somewhere and smell it. Smells like a hospital when you walk in.
Correct. Absolutely. It's got to have that kind of feel of, yes, listen, this has definitely been disinfectant. We've bought one of these. It's an advert for sanity unit or whatever it is. It's one of these things that changes the ozone within a car. So we bought a couple of these. It's going to do the job within 20 minutes. It's fantastic. It's fantastic. However, how do you know it's been done? There's no smell. It's almost as bad as the COVID, because it's got no smell, it's got no taste. You can't see it. So, how can you tell people? Well, there's a little pad about this size. Well, no, you've got to put a sticker on the car, or you've got to tell people. And again, likewise, you've got to tell people that it's getting done. You've got to tell people, and you've got to put something that has got some kind of, additional view into it. If a customer actually sees you wiping something down, he sees you wiping something down. He doesn't actually, it's all about the process and its perception of the end user. So you've got to be careful what you're doing. You've got to be really careful with what you're doing. But smells and tastes and things like that, as you quite rightly said, you open that door and you smell this, let it be bleach or disinfectant or something like that. As long as it's not overpowering, but if it's got that, you'll know it's clean. And if you know it's clean, you've got more chance of getting, dealing with that customer, I think.
Hitting the senses,
Absolutely.
making sure they know.
Absolutely.
I mean, I'm really fortunate. I've kind of moved from a job that I loved in car sales, and now I'm in a job that I love, which is teaching people in car sales how to use digital video kind of easily and effectively. So it's been a perfect transition for me, and something that I saw as something that needed to be done. Do you think that sales teams are ready for this shift? Because sales, and I know service as well, but predominantly sales, they've been on furlough for a lot of them. They've been out of the loop of selling, and before they went off, most of them were in an old process of doing things. Do you think coming back, they're going to be ready for this massive shift to digital and video? Because do you think they're going to need that kind of upskilling in these areas and moving forward?
It's a really good question, Jacob. It's a really, really good question, that. And the problem, we were discussing it last night. In fact, the problem with furlough, the great thing about, let's be honest. The government have done and saved thousands of jobs, possibly millions of jobs by doing the furlough scheme. And yes, we all know through taxes we'll be paying this forever. Certainly my lifetime anyway. But the reality is they've saved jobs, which is the main thing. However, there is a downside to it. These people are actually sitting at home. Some of them are actually just sitting at home. They're all allowed to exercise and whatever. But, if they're doing what they're meant to be doing, and that's being, in their houses, they'll be absolutely fed up. The creative side of their mind will be completely gone. I know how rusty you get, even if you had a couple of quiet days when you were on a shop front. You'll know that as well.
Yeah.
What I always encourage my guys to do when I was in the Vauxhall dealership and even here as well, if it's quiet, go and pick up the phone and speak to one of your mates, because at least you get the juices flowing. You get the whole speech thing, because you can't even get the words out when you speak to a customer if you're really rusty, and it takes time to come back. So I think from that side of things, I think that's where the short-term pain is going to be. The long-term pain is, I think, in how salespeople now deal with the whole new environment. And that'll be a lot down to, and this is going to sound like a really ageist thing, but I think this is going to be a lot down to, we've always done it this way, so we'll always do it that way. Well, I'm afraid you can't do that like that anymore. I think the young guys and the young girls within the industry will grasp it very, very quickly, because they're on the Instagrams, they're on the the WhatsApps, they're doing it anyway, so it's very natural for them.
Yeah.
What I think businesses have actually got to do for businesses to survive is to try not to micromanage your salespeople anymore. Let them do what they think they should actually do. And I know that's very dangerous, but the reality is they'll come up with some fantastic ideas, and it's fantastic ideas that you can actually go and use in your dealership. Let them guide you. They know how social media works. They know how video works. They know the best processes. Don't try and shoehorn them into a see it now type video, and tell them exactly what they've got to do. Just let them do it, and a lot is down to the personality of the person as well, isn't it? It's a lot down to the personality of showing around cars, and it's a likability side of things, and let that flow. The people who's going to struggle are likely people.
Oh, your sound's gone. Sorry. People are going to struggle.
People are going to struggle are going to be in their 40s, 50s, 60s, I think, because they've always done it a certain way, Jacob, and I think that's going to be the difficulty for them is to get their head around the whole thing. But honestly, it's a massive, massive game changer. This massive, this is basically leveled everybody. Everybody's on the same level now. Everybody's on the same level, and it's about who gets out of that. Who gets out first, and who can be quickest, and it's about a mindset, isn't it? It's about how can you do this differently, not about what's happened in the past. That's completely gone, So if you've struggled in the past with social media, struggled in the past with video, you're going to struggle going forward. I think, if you've used it and you maybe not really enjoyed it, but you can get to it. Nobody likes listening to their own voice.
No.
Nobody likes seeing themselves in the video. Everybody hates it. Everybody hates it. But you've got, it's got to be done. It's got to be done. When I listen to this back, which I will listen to this back, I think, is this how I come across? Really? Horrible. It's horrible. But for you, this is me.
Yeah.
For everybody watching, this is me. I don't put on a front. This is just exactly what I am about. I'm really passionate about business. I'm really passionate about industry. I'm really passionate about social media. And this is just me. I love speaking about it. But your voice sounds wrong, doesn't it? When you hear it.
That's the biggest hurdle when I was going in and teaching teams in using video at the dealerships I was at. Everyone would say the same two things. It was, I don't feel comfortable on camera, or I don't like hearing my own voice. And it's those two things. But once you start doing it enough, it becomes second nature. You get used to it. Like me hearing you, I've heard your voice numerous times, and that is you. And you get used to doing it, you get confident in doing it, and then it becomes that kind of, as I say, a second nature, and it's just part of what you do. It's like the first time you ever picked up a phone to prospect a customer. It felt horrible and weird and strange at first, but you did it enough times over the years that actually it was just a case of, I'll just pick up the phone. It's exactly the same principle. It's just a different skill. That's all it is. Yeah,
I think as you become older, Jacob, I mean, I just turned 50, so the great thing about that is, comes, a bit of wisdom, and also you don't care anymore about what people think. you really
the
don't.
Ego drops.
Or you care less. You do care less about what people think. What you dress like, or what you wear, or I mean, I'm actually wearing black skinny jeans, and I've got blue shoes on with red laces. So I'll actually show you that.
Oh, I love the laces.
Yeah. So I mean, would I've worn that in my 20s? No, I wouldn't have, because I would have been worried about what people thought. But I don't care anymore.
No, I think you're rocking the new style. That's the new dealership look. Forget suit and ties, skinny jeans and red laces.
That's it.
Oh, that's brilliant. Well, I'm going to, from this, if I can, bring it on to the last part, which is the quickfire. The value just of this that I know people are going to have got from all of that previous stuff is so big. Even me, I'm sat here going, that's a really good point. That's something I should be implementing. So I knew it was going to be a good one. Anyway, so with all our guests, we like to get personal. We like to do a bit of a quick fire round, if that's all right with you. So I'm going to call this section Quick Fire with Jim Reid. Are you ready?
I am ready, Jacob.
Lovely. Cats or dogs?
Cats.
Yeah, you weren't sure about that one.
I've got 2 cats and 1 dog, and I love them all. Cats are fantastic, but the cats have got their own. Dogs adore you. Cats only just deal with you. It's completely different altogether.
Cats own you.
They own you, yeah, absolutely.
Tea or coffee?
Tea.
Takeaway or home cooking?
Home cooking, definitely.
All right, you're only allowed one brand of car for the rest of your life. What would it be?
I would go Porsche.
Oh, nice. They've got a good range as well of everything now. It's not just sports. You could have one of everything.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not, crazily enough, I'm not a huge lover of cars. I'm not really, I didn't solid about cars. But I've got an old 986 Boxster. Honestly, it's the most fantastic fun.
Music or podcast?
Podcast.
Do you prefer a bath or a shower?
Shower.
TV in the evening or a book?
I actually love books, but it's TV in the evening because I spend a bit of my time with Gil. Yeah.
City or countryside?
Oh, countryside, definitely.
Your biggest pet peeve, if you have one?
Rudeness.
Yeah, unnecessary rudeness.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'll join you on that.
Absolutely.
Who's your biggest inspiration in life?
My wife, Gail.
Oh,
100. When I started up for a start, James, very, very quick story for you.
Yeah.
We're out a walk, okay, and I remember this forevermore. And the reason I actually got started in business is I actually went for a an interview with a guy, a well-known guy who owned a dealership locally, and loved the type of job he was going to offer me and things like that. But it was to do with vans. Cars are okay, but vans, the most unsexy thing in the world, aren't they? Trying to sell vans. So I was offered the sales manager job at this, fantastic dealership, locally owned, lovely guys, brothers actually. And I turned them down. I went back and said, look, I can't do it. Oh, what is it? And I said, well, it's a vans thing. I just didn't get the vans thing. And he said, well, what is it you want to do? And I said, well, ideally, I'd love to set up on my own. Oh well, when you're sort, when you're kind of sorted that, when you're sorted that point, give me a wee shout and I'll see what I can help you. That's a bit strange, but never mind. When I went back to him eventually, and this is a long story because I actually took pneumonia in between, and that was a life changer for me. And when I went back to him, I said, do you remember me? Oh, absolutely. Have you got your plan? I said, have. I said, I'll take it in. So sat down, and basically within that half-hour meeting, we'd obviously planned to, and he was actually investing in this business that I didn't, unbelievable. So I went home to Gail, and we're out a walk, and I says, Gail, what would you think if I said we're going to jack in my job and I'm going to start up my own? And she said to me, Jacob, she says, what's taking you so long?
Amazing.
Honestly,
that's the type of woman you like.
Honestly, backs me to the hilt 100%. Nobody more loyal than Gail, honestly. My total inspiration.
Amazing. Oh, I love that. I like the story.
The best home cooking.
Finish the sentence. I'm most happy when I'm
at home.
Nice. What's one thing that you've got on your bucket list?
I haven't been to America. I quite fancy going to America. Might be a wee while away, but now, isn't it? But I quite fancy going to America, yeah. I'd love to go to New York. Gail hates the thought of going to New York, but I would love that. But yeah, I'd like to do, Route 66 or something like that. I think that would be, big camper van, one of these great big RVs. That's what I quite fancy. Myself, Gail, and my dog. Up me sorted.
If you could have one superpower, what would it be?
Oh, geez, that's a really tough one. Being invisible.
I'm not going to ask why. Your house is on fire. What two things, not your wife, she's already out, she was smart enough to run. What two things are you going back in for?
I would have to be three because I've got 2 cats and 1 dog.
Save the animals.
Yes, indeed.
Do you have any tattoos?
No. I've never understood the whole tattoo thing. My son Liam, who's 24, he's almost got a sleeve of tattoos. And, it looks great because he's a nice fit lad and whatever. But I think, well, nobody wants to see my tattoo anyway. To be quite honest with you. So,
your favourite movie of all time?
Planes, Trains, and Automobiles.
Brilliant.
Honestly, it is absolutely fantastic.
That was the quick fire. Thank you. That's I think we've learnt a bit. What does Jim Reid do in his time of switching off, away from work? What do you do to completely relax and turn off, if you can?
Yeah, so work's a funny thing, isn't it? Because we all have sections of our lives, don't we? Because we say, this is work time, this is home time. In fact, when you've got your own business, these two things are both together. You never actually completely switch off from work, unfortunately. Or is that fortunately? I don't know. Because at the end of the day, it's part and parcel of my life. It's part and parcel of who I am. If I check my emails, which I do continuously through an evening, because I do,
yeah.
And check social media as I do. And if I got something where somebody was in trouble, I can't settle until I've actually replied. So, I've got to reply. So, but out with those, I do spend a stupid amount of time on my phone on social media, which I shouldn't, and I always get in trouble for it. But I do like watching a wee bit of television, and also I like going out walks with my dog, Fern, who's an 8-year-old border collie. So we normally go out walks with her. So we've got fantastic countryside in Aberdeenshire, and we built a house 4 years ago, and it's a beautiful pitch where we've only got 3 other neighbours, and it's the end of a country track, and we've got the most lovely. Honestly, we look onto the Grampians Hills. We can see them from a distance, so we can see the snow on them today.
No
for instance,
way.
And we've got a hill called Benahee and things. It's absolutely. It's honestly, it's stunning. It's like heaven. It's unbelievable.
I wouldn't want to leave your house if that was my house. I wouldn't want to leave it.
No, absolutely. Something I don't.
No. And what would your perfect day off look like? If you had no limitations.
Oh, no limitations would likely be, if you've ever been to the Caribbean,
No.
you must go to the Caribbean. Honestly, I would thoroughly recommend going to the Caribbean. Everybody needs to go to the Caribbean in their life. Honestly, it is the best place in the world to go. Absolutely brilliant people, lovely weather, great beaches. Antigua especially, Barbados is lovely. Tobago is lovely. You know, they're the most fantastic places. So my perfect day would likely be somewhere there. So that's when I read an enormous amount of books and listen to podcasts and whatever.
You'll be searching for holidays after this now. Although it won't be going very far at the moment.
Yeah.
And you said about books and you read a lot on holiday. Are there any kind of go-to books? Are you more of a business book person or just a fictional, take your mind away kind of person?
I didn't read a lot of fiction, to be quite honest with you, Jake, but it's always normally, you know, self-help, self-taught books type of things. You know, that's my go. You know, inspirational type of books. Sometimes a biography type of thing. The biography side of things is, if it's not really interesting for a start, you switch off completely, don't you? But some of the old books are the best. You know, I ordered three new books, and they arrived last night. I was so excited.
Really?
Stuck into the Amazon, and there's nothing better than that creasing back at first pages of a brand new book. It's just like,
Have you read How to Win Friends and Influence People?
Yeah, absolutely. A number of times. Yeah, it's one of the best books out there, isn't it?
Timeless.
It
so
is
valuable.
Absolutely.
And are you a sports fan?
Yeah, I mean, I used to play a little bit of football, and I used to watch quite a lot of football as well. But as life goes on and life changes, and you have kids, you know, we had two kids very, very early. Gail and I were married when we were 20, and Gail was 20 and I was 21, and we were family really early as well. So the benefit of that now is we've got grandkids and whatever. So your life goes through different spells, isn't it? And yes, I mean, I've got a general. Yes, I would go. If somebody said, you know, Aberdeen is in the Scottish Cup final and you've got a free ticket and go down with your dad and whatever, I would do it, you know. Yeah. But, you know, I wouldn't stand in a queue for 3 days to get a ticket, you know what I mean? You know, I've not got that desire. I would watch it if it's on, you know, but it's you know, yes and no, if you know what I mean.
Absolutely. I think we'll end it there, if that's all right with you, Jim. That's been so valuable. Thank you so much for just coming on in general. And as a bit of a recap, I think we've learned that it's very simple. Be consistent. Don't overthink anything, and just make sure that you've targeted the audience that you really want to attract. And that might mean paying a little bit in the forefront, but the organic reach afterwards, you're going to be bringing in people that really you can target. And some of the reasons why you've done so well, and also in our industry, and I know so many people speak so highly of you, is you have such a good structure in place from a personal level. The family feeling around your business and everything, it's just it clearly goes a long way, and you come across as one of the most authentic people I've probably ever spoken to. So I appreciate your time massively. Thank you for coming on.
No, absolutely. And listen, an absolutely fantastic opportunity, and thank you very much for having me on.
No, not a problem at all. Well, thank you to Jim Reid for joining us on this episode. For anyone watching or listening, I know already you would have got a huge amount of value from that. I know I have. So if you haven't already, make sure you're following us on all the usual social media platforms, so LinkedIn and Facebook, all of those ones. And we will catch you in another episode.
So there was only two of us within the furlough, so it was just myself and Phil. So Phil was obviously kept going with the lead side of things, and I'm so glad that has actually happened, because it's obviously, you know, resulted in a few sales, which has been brilliant. Yeah. And Phil's so Phil's brilliant. You know, Phil's so flexible. He will do everything and anything. Honestly, there's nothing he won't do. He cleans cars, he delivers cars. You know, he does everything, and does, you know. So today I had a job of doing the toilets. So with marigolds on and whatever, I should have taken pictures of it.